Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. Our first one comes from Quiet Gur 1448. Am I the beehole for telling my sister I don't feel sorry for her after her daughter moved in with her grandparents? My niece, Annabelle, age 15, went to live with her grandparents a few weeks ago. This was a long time coming. Annabelle has been miserable at home for years and has talked to her mom countless times and had me, my mom, and my brother talk to her mom on her behalf before. Nothing changed until Annabelle was finally done. This all started when Annabelle was 4. My sister, Natasha, age 47, met her husband, and they moved in together with his then 5-year-old daughter, Jasmine. Annabelle instantly adored Jasmine, which I knew my sister hyped her up for, them being sisters and stuff. But Jasmine, from day one, was very negative towards Annabelle. She would scream at Annabelle and call her names. It was normal kid acting out stuff. That wasn't corrected from what we witnessed. Then, over the years, it just kept getting worse and stayed a very negative relationship, even after Annabelle stopped trying to be sisters or even friends with Jasmine. Jasmine was with her dad way more than her mom. Her mom, like Annabelle's dad, was a bit of a deadbeat, though at least she knew her mom, where Annabelle has never met her dad. Whenever we would see them, Jasmine would have no problem playing with other kids, even other kids in our family. But she would tell Annabelle she couldn't play, or she'd blame Annabelle for making her stop playing with others. My brother's kids would come and tell us what was going on, and neither Natasha or her husband would say or do anything. My mom went over a few times to say it wasn't nice to exclude kids, and Jasmine would say she hated Annabelle and wanted her to go away. This all bled into school, where Annabelle was bullied by Jasmine and some of her friends. Still, nothing was done. Natasha dismissed everyone who mentioned it to her. She would even ask Annabelle if she really wanted her to be unhappy and single again, or why couldn't she accept that some sisters wouldn't always like you. She would ignore when Annabelle told her that Jasmine never liked her. We did our best to be supportive of Annabelle. We even tried to figure it out if we could help things with her and Jasmine. It came as no surprise to me when Annabelle told us her grandparents were fighting for custody. When they won it was surprising because I almost expected it to go to Natasha's favor since she's her mom. But the judge decided Annabelle was old enough to have a say and took everything into account. Natasha was furious with the decision and has been crying and raging ever since. Nobody has comforted her, and we've pulled back now since we no longer need to go through her to see Annabelle. This might be why she showed up at my house the other night, and wanted to talk when I didn't let her in. She asked me why we were not there for her. I told her that I don't feel sorry for her at all, and I said it was her fault that this happened. Natasha called me a bee and stormed away from my house, sent me a text yesterday saying I should still be there for her. Am I the beehole? IOP, you are not the beehole. This one shouldn't even be if you're, am I the beehole because you're just kind of observing. And yeah, you tried to step in and did what you could. So props to you for trying to help that poor kid out. But there's not really much you could have done in that situation. So yeah, not the beehole. There's, like I said, not much you could have done. But I can easily tell you who the beehole is. It's the mother, Natasha. Holy heck, she's doing that whole thing where they blame the kid for like when I just didn't happen, but I'm saying I get that same kind of vibe where like the adult that the parent got with like, went after the kid in a way they're not supposed to, you know what I mean? And then they get mad at the kid for seducing the other one. It's not that. I'm just saying I get that kind of vibe where she was like, "Don't you want me to be happy? Do you want me to divorce?" That sort of thing, putting that on a kid like that. She's effed up. She's mentally abusive, you know? And also, it sounds like Annabelle has a good head on her shoulders and she's pretty smart. At age 15, she went, "This is terrible. I need to get out of here." And she did it. She found a way out and went to go live with people who actually want her. Because it sounds like the mom doesn't want her. And she's letting was it Jasmine? Jasmine get away with everything. You're letting this girl bully your child and you do nothing? Oh, and the father of Jasmine is also an incompetent idiot. Why are you not beating your child? I know people say, "Oh, don't, nah. I grew up with the belt. I grew up well, love my parents, respect the hell out of them, and don't want anything bad to happen to them, and I believe I'm a good son to them." And I believe a lot of that's because I was disciplined with that belt. I know people say, "Don't hit your kid. Don't hit them where you're injuring them, but, tap on the butt." That you remember that and you correct your behavior. And I grew up to be a decent person. Same thing with the rest of my siblings. But yeah, this is an easy one. You're not the beehole. Annabelle's not the beehole. And yeah, you shouldn't comfort her. She's in the wrong. But it's crazy how people see themselves. She really thinks she's the victim in all of this, and people should be falling to their knees to comfort her and make her feel better when she's the villain in this story. It's crazy how people see themselves, huh? But yeah, not the beehole. Good on you for trying to help her out, and also double win. You don't have to talk to Natasha anymore to go see Annabelle. That's great. Works out for you. Annabelle gets to go somewhere where she's happy. I don't know what's going on with school though. I assume what's her face is going to still try to bully her even more now. Maybe the mom's gonna hype her up to go after her even harder. I don't know. That's something I would worry about. But from what I have from the story, yeah, not the beehole. Natasha's the beehole, and I wish that little girl the best. And our next one comes from Spiritual Most 6874. Am I the beehole for telling my mother-in-law to stay out of things that don't effing concern her? My husband and I took some time out from his mom last year because she was interfering into my personal business that has no impact on her whatsoever. The gist of what happened is, I was contacted by some biological family members of mine, my late father's parents, and two of his siblings. They had reached out to say they regretted letting me and my younger sister go into foster care. When we were 6 and 2, after our parents died, my sister died in foster care, and then I was only left alone with no family. So having these people reach out now that I'm 29 and haven't seen them in over 2 decades, it pissed me off. The reason for them not taking me is I was my father's affair baby. He was married, with kids when he and my mom started an affair, and his marriage to his ex-wife only came to an end when my mom was 6 months pregnant with me. The fallout meant my father was hated, understandably, but so was I, and so was my sister when she was born. I have a very vague memories of his older children, and none of them pleasant. My father's parents and siblings all sided with his ex-wife and the children once my parents died and decided foster care was the only place for us since we had nobody on our maternal side. My mother was a foster kid herself. I saw my grandparents and aunts and uncles at my sister's funeral, but she was buried by the state since none of them claimed her body, and I was just a child myself, so I couldn't. I had no desire to welcome them into my life or to forgive and have a formal relationship. My mother-in-law started making comments that I should give them a chance, or I'll regret it. She said how am I ever supposed to know my siblings if I don't make the effort. My husband told her to stop. I even told her, my siblings weren't a part of the group who reached out, and from the limited info I heard, they have no interest in establishing anything with me, and it sounds like they feel like I should have died along with my sister. Mother-in-law said it didn't mean I shouldn't try, and then she wanted me to know their names so she could talk to them. After her not letting up, despite my husband telling her multiple times, we decided to take a break from her. Then, a little over a week back ago, she showed up and told me she found them on Facebook, and was waiting for them to accept a message, so she could talk to them and fix things for me. I lost my temper, and told her to stay out of things that didn't effing concern her. She told me not to curse, and she was trying to help. My husband was furious with his mom when he got home. They argued, and then his brother got involved, and basically said I should have just shut the door in her face and let my husband deal with her. So, now I'm wondering, if he's right, and I was wrong to engage and say what I did, am I the beehole? Ooh, OP, you've had a hard life. Yeah, first things first, you're not the beehole. Um, Honestly, I think you could have went either way on this one. I'm glad you stuck up to her, and told her off because I don't even know if this is overstepping. This is like over jumping, over skipping. This is going way over the line. You told her no. You have no interest in those people, and she has no right to that. You know what I mean? That's not her family. She don't know those people, and she went on Facebook, hunted them down, and sent a message, and she expects you to be like, oh yeah, I'll talk to them after you told her and your husband, her child, told her no, we don't want this. She still did it. I think you need a longer break or to just not keep her at arm's length. And for the other option you had where the brother said you should have just slammed the door in her face and let your husband handle it, That could have worked too. I could see that going just fine. I think either one of those works, but both of them happened, so I count that as a double win. But yeah, to wrap this one up, she had no right to meddle in your business, and I absolutely understand why you don't want to meet those people. They threw you away, and you lost your sister, and then they show up at the funeral like, don't you love that? Don't you just love how people are awful, ghoulish creatures, but they'll show up at the funeral and act like they cared about the person? They just want to be seen. They just want to be nosy and see what's going on with other people's lives and gloat. I've had something like that happen in my life. It's not fun. I'm glad I didn't go, but my brother went. Um, yeah, OP, not the beehole. I think either one of those suggestions worked. And yeah, you need to get it through her head that you don't want this to happen, or you're going to cut her out of your life because she went way over the line meddling in your life like that. And our next one came from Radiant Ad 9575. Am I the beehole for saying to my sister, our jobs aren't the same? Last night, my sister and I went to a dinner party to catch up with friends. We went to the same school together. My friends were her friends, younger siblings. Before the coof happened, we hadn't seen each other for at least 2 years, and then the coof happened. So it's been 5 years since we all saw each other, and a lot has changed. Many of us have graduated and have full-time jobs. Many have gone to start a PhD, and so on. My sister works at a high school as an English teacher, whereas I work at a university as a university research lecturer. My sister spends 80% of her working hours teaching. The other 20% of the time is spent making and doing admin. During dinner, a friend of hers asked me what I was up to now. Before I got the chance to answer, my sister butted in and said she's got the same job as me. She teaches. At this point, I said no, we don't have the same job. I corrected the fact that she works as a teacher at a secondary school. I work at a university. And I only spend 10 hours a week teaching. The rest is spent researching my field of work, coming up with the new project proposals, and publishing, and much more. I do admit I did have a little bit of an attitude problem, but I don't know why. Most of the time, anything I say comes out in a rude tone, even though I don't mean to. I immediately apologize for giving a rude attitude, as it genuinely wasn't meant to happen. However, I didn't apologize for correcting my sister. We had dinner and went home. I noticed my sister was in a mood whilst dropping her back at her place. This morning, I woke up to a message from my sister, which was a paragraph calling me a beehole for looking down upon her job and being downright rude. I sent a message back saying I knew my attitude came off rude, but I apologized for it straight away when I noticed. I said I don't look down upon you because you're a teacher, but I won't apologize for correcting you and saying our jobs are different. You are a teacher, and most of your hours are spent teaching. The rest is spent marking and doing admin tasks. Mine is spent teaching, marking, doing admin, creating research proposals, helping in projects, publishing, and much more. She is still mad at me. Was I in the wrong? Hi, OP. If you didn't apologize for coming off rude, I would have said you're kind of a beehole. But I would say your sister is a bit of a beehole too, trying to belittle your job like that. Cause yeah, you're doing a tougher job than her. She's teaching, which, no offense to either of you, teaching is a tough job. But yeah, you do more. It's a I don't know how to say it, harder job, bigger job. I don't know, but you know what I mean. It takes more research work. This kind of reminds me of that episode of King of the Hill where Hank and everybody's going to do a focus group for a lawnmower, and when they go around the table telling everybody what their job is, Hank goes to say that he sells propane and propane accessories, but his dad is there, and his dad is a terrible character. He says that he's a pump jockey and that he works at a gas station. Probably it kind of reminds me of that, where she's like, "Oh, she's a teacher just like me." Even feels like why would she jump in and tell them what you do when you're right there and you can explain it just fine? Maybe she is a little bit jealous. Maybe she does feel a little bit insecure about your job and how she's just a teacher. But that's her problem. OP, I don't think you're the beehole, especially because you apologize for coming off rude. So yeah, not the beehole. Our final one comes from Used Prior 7586. Am I the beehole for calling my sister-in-law an a-hole for buying a more expensive baby high chair for when she babysits my baby? My husband and I, male 35, female 31, had our baby 7 months ago and now have to go back to work soon. Out on the days both my husband and I have the evening shift or the same weekend shift, my husband's brother and his wife, male 40, female 42, offered to babysit. They are child free and work 9 to 5, no weekends. Yesterday I was visiting and she showed me how she prepared their apartment with safety things, and she had purchased a baby chair, $1,000 baby high chair. I was appalled because the one I have is a $30 one. I told her that she was the beehole for having a more expensive chair for my child at her place when I have a $30 chair. She just shrugged and said she was thinking about the rest of her interior and wanted a beautiful piece. Because it will be in the kitchen for a long period of time. I was furious and left, but my husband wants me to apologize for being rude. How am I the rude one here when she obviously overtopped us with their own child? Throwaway, and please don't share it because she's active on social media, but I don't think she knows Reddit. Okay, this is an easy one. OP, you are the beehole. What a nothing story. Who cares? Who cares that she bought an expensive chair? It's for your baby. You have the $30 one. Who cares? That's great. That's great. Like, OP, these people are helping you with something that's really important. Like, a lot of people wouldn't do this. Help you with, and watch a child and, give up time out of their day and their life to watch your child. And they went out of their way to baby proof their house. They're excited. They're going to treat them well. They want to give them the best. They got them a high chair that's $1,000. I assume the high chair does something. Maybe it floats for $1,000. And you, a grown adult, are having a tantrum over that. OP, you're the beehole. What's wrong with you? And I agree with your husband. You need to go over there and apologize to those people. They are doing you a humongous favor in watching your child. And you're going on and acting like a child, OP. Go apologize to those nice people and let your baby sit in a $1,000 high chair. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.